Hello and welcome back to Pulsar Games. In today's video I've got a deck profile from my first place at Birmingham Regional playing Fiend Smith Malice, and in the latter half I'll also have a combo tutorial showcasing the Fiend Smith cards. It'll be a one card combo with just Dormouse. Before we get into the profile though, I do have some sponsor shoutouts. None of this would be possible without Kong's cards, and if you use code TEAMKONG5 at your checkout you'll be able to get 5% off of all your purchases. And look at these shiny cards. That's where we get everything from, is Kong's cards. So I'll leave a link into the description and you better see it on the screen as well, the discount code you need to use. But without further ado, we'll get straight on into the profile. So starting with the main deck, and we'll start with the Malice cards. So I play 3 Dormouse, pretty standard, 3 Rabbit. I play 2 Jessie Cat, and then the Dotscaper, that's kind of like par for the course. 3 Malice in Underground, 1 Gold Sarcophagus and 1 Terraforming, and then we play 1 of each trap. So this is what we play for the Malice cards. I think this is perfectly fine. You can play more Jessie Cat if you like things like Allure of Darkness, so you can play less if you don't want to draw them as much, because you have other things like in the Engage build, for example, if you play Striker. But I think this is perfectly fine. I did want the Terraforming to be another tract, but I didn't find one in time, so I ended up playing the Terraforming instead. And Terraforming was fine. It is just another copy of the Field Spell, which is another engine card. So I'll get these out of the way. And on to the Fiend Smith portion of the deck profile. So I did want to max out on this. So 3 Engravers, 1 Lacrima, 1 Lurry, and 2 Tracts. I did want to play 3, but couldn't find a third, so here we are. 1 Fiend Smith in Paradise. Everything you need really. It's all the cards. It does everything you want it to do. It bodies, its recursion, its interruption. It forces answers from your opponent. It demands a response. So if they're holding an imperm, they're going to need to use it on this, and then you can just use your actual engine to play. For non-engine, we play 3 Fulos, 3 Ash, 3 Imperm, play 4 Bestials, play 1 Mag, 2 Jurist and 1 Baldrake, and then the talents and the call by. So it is 40 cards in the main deck. I was originally playing Signet Mining and Code of Soul, but I took them out for the Terraforming and the Baldrake. I feel they offer I'll do a similar thing, but they're just better overall. So Code of Soul is nice, but I was just never wanting it or using it, and a Bestial is just another extender in the same right. Terraforming can work in the same way as Signet Mind. It can get you started, and I don't know, I just feel like this is just better in general. The Bestials is more interruption, Baldrake specifically as well, because it's an interruption on your opponent's turn, similar to Druid Worms. If you're able to summon it on their opponent's turn, and then they have to deal with it, usually with an SP, which means you're not dead that turn. And because you've got so much follow-up, you're just going to win right back. I was very happy with these ratios, and I think the main deck will stay almost the same. Just if I can find a third tract, then I'll probably swap the Terraforming for the third tract. And now we'll move on to the extra deck. So we play 1 Link Decoder, 1 Haggard Lizardos, 1 of each of the Malice Link monsters, and then obviously the Fiend Smith cards. So we play Moon, Requiem, Sequence, and Desiree. I also play Necroquip and Caesar. So at first I wasn't going to play Caesar, I was just going to play Necroquip to threaten Caesar so they forced a Nibiru. But in the mirror match, Caesar is actually crazy. So whenever they go to pay life points, bring one back from the banished, you can Caesar it and it's just going to stay there. And it's so much stronger, rather than, because in the mirror match a lot of your interrupts are weird because it's banishes, but this is the man. Splash Mage, I never made it. Might cut it, might drop it for something else. SP made it once, but it was clutch. SP is always going to be clutch as well. It's one of those things you're just always going to be able to use, and obviously if you can make it and then on their turn you can use it to banish yourself and a Malice link, and then you can dodge stuff, and it's just great. Firewall for some of the combos, and also you can use it as an interrupt. And then the main man himself, Nightmare Griffin. So my go-to end board was just always Griffin with either Firewall, SP, Hearts Crypto. Sometimes maybe a Desiree Caesar if you don't get interrupted for whatever reason, and then a GWC set, and sometimes an MTP 07 set as well. And now we'll move on to the side deck. Side deck's pretty simple. So you have to play Lanciers somewhere in your list, and to go with the Lancier was to play 1 Sanctum, to increase our chance of having it going first, and to see the Sanctums we played 2 thrusts, so we've effectively got 6 Lanciers going first. And then we play 2 D-barriers also for the thrust. So this is 4 D-barriers against Ryziel. So I've heard some people saying it's bad against Ryziel, and it's not it's not a game ender like Lancier can be against Malice. But it puts them on a position where they need the Fiend Smith stuff. They have to pivot into that line. And one thing you can do is you can either wait. You can even call fusion as well, sometimes that's great. But you can just wait for them to make the duo drive and then D-barrier there. Because then they've already committed to that play. And then you're not going to go any further. They can't do anything with those bodies anymore. And they've also wasted the resource in the duo drive. 3 Book of Eclipse when we go second against Ryziel. And other like big decks like Ubel and things. This card is so good. I wish I could play more. Duster to search off the thrust. And then 3 Impulse. So I know what you're thinking. Impulse, it conflicts with things like Lancier and the Fiend Smith stuff, but you trim down the Fiend Smith package when you decide this in, and it's mainly for the mirror matches and like some rogue decks or whatever. That's the deck profile. I'll see you in a minute with the 1-card Dormouse combo. So welcome back. I'm going to run you through the 1-card Dormouse combo, and then I'll show you where it goes. So we're going to normal Dormouse naturally. Going to use the effects. Banish White Rabbit. Bring the White Rabbit back to paying 300. We're going to use the White Rabbit effect, which is going to set TV11. So this is all pretty standard. Where it deviates from normal is with the 2 bodies. Instead of making the Lizard, we're going to instead make Moon of the Closed Heaven. And then that naturally turns into a Requiem. And while you are weak to Ash in this line, so if this is your only play, then you might want to consider not going this route in case they have an Ash. But if they don't, then obviously you're fine. So your Requiem, Lacrima, and then Lacrima will dump Engraver. At this point you can use the Engraver, bring it back by putting the Closed Heaven back into your extra deck. And then we're going to link into the Haggard Lizardos. So that you see, you get from 2 bodies into 1 body, back into the 2 bodies. So you still didn't get the Lizard, but now you've got access to these in your opponent's turn, so you've got an Interrupt and Follow Up. And then of course you banish the mouse, summon the mouse back, and then you're just back on normal roads now. Do the combo any which way you like. So in this case, we're red get the field, and then I like to TB11 here, get out the Jessie Cat, and then red comes back, and then red will banish the Dotscaper. Dotscaper also comes back, and then you can make your Link Decoder, and then you have a Malice Underground in hand. And we link 3 into our White Binder, which is going to trigger White Binder 1, banishing the cat and the TV11, Decoder 2. So bring back the Decoder, banish these, Jessie Cat will come back. And then we can use the White Binder to set. So we'll set the GWC06. Now zones matter a little bit here, so we're going to GWC06 banish to summon back the Red Ransom. And then the White Binder will summon back, and then you get a draw. So you've used the GWC06 now, and now we're going to use these 2 to go into Firewall Dragon. You're going to use Firewall Dragon to add back your Fiend Smith Engraver. You're going to use the Fiend Smith Engraver. You can either add Tract if you want an extender, if you want to make a crypt to play, or if you just want to get the Paradise out of the deck now so that you don't draw it, that's also an option. So you get the Paradise out of your deck, and then you can use the Jessie Cat, banish the Malice Underground. You can hold this if you like, or you can just banish it so you get 2 more draws. So 2 more draws, and then we're going to use these 2 to go into Nightmare Griffin, discard the Fiend Smith Paradise to reset the GWC06, and then of course draw a card. So you also started with 4 other cards in hand, so you do have an 8-card hand at the moment. So you'll end on an 8-card hand. They're all white sleeves, so it's a bit harder to see, but we'll just do it the face up. So it's an 8-card hand, and then a GWC06 set with Fiend Smith and Paradise in the grave, as well as Fiend Smith setup. So you can potentially play Agnum Day. I've just not fiddled about with it yet, because you can only go into the fusion lines if you open with either Engraver or a Tract, because obviously you get link locked as soon as you activate a banished monster, a banished Malice monster. But yeah, I quite like this combo. Obviously the 8-card hand gives you a lot of chances to draw into extenders, into interrupts, into hand traps, which is what you want to draw. As well as you've got full follow-up next turn. It's a pretty simple board, but it's quite layered interruptions, because you've got the Griffin, which they need to answer. Again, as I said, if you want the extender, rather than getting the Fiend Smith for Paradise, what you can do is get the tract for the Lurry. And then, because you can access the Fiend Smith from Paradise on your opponent's turn, wherever I put it, I've lost it. There it is. You can access this on your opponent's turn via the Lacrima, wherever she is. So you can just get a tract for Lurry, and then you can turn these two into an SP. Or if you have another Cyburst in hand, you can then summon that off the Firewall. Then you'll have a Cyburst, a Lurry, and the Firewall, and you can turn those three into Crypto, which gives you another interrupt on board. You're going to get 07 on their turn via a Rabbit, which you're going to banish with White Binder, or you're going to banish Red with White, and so on and so forth. And if you just don't want to give them a zone at all, you can turn Firewall and your Lurry / Cyburst into either SP Little Knight, Splash Mage. Moon gives them a zone, but it's whatever it is. If it's a Lurry, you can even make Sequence, just if you don't want to give them a zone. Because the Griffin engine is so good versus Fiend Smith, because they can't out it with Engraver. So you can just let them go as far as they want to go. They can't use Sequence to make anything. Caesar doesn't do anything. If they make a Chaos Angel, that doesn't do anything.